Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenore and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Capricorn. If Capricorn is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so this is a bonus reading for Capricorn. And we have the Knight of Pentacles, which would equate basically to the Prince of Discs in the Thoth. I know I usually read with Thoth. This is a bonus reading. So tonight I'm reading with Tarot. I always forget what it's called. The Carnival at the End of the World Tarot deck, which is a beautiful deck, by the way. Okay. And let's go ahead here and take a look and see what do these tea leaves have to say. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I'd love to hear from you. Also, if you're new to the channel, definitely shout it out in the comment section. And if you'd like to leave a like, hit the little like button. I would appreciate you forever and ever and ever. Okay, let's see. All right. So we have two people in a tree. We also have a boat. We have a person here handing what looks like a 6. We have a person over here drinking something out of a canteen, possibly. We have a house. We have a house and a shovel. Okay, so let's take a look. We have that Knight of Pentacles, right? So this is an energy of profound drive, right? Motivation. You know, just has a lot of ideas, beginning to really kind of, well, if you could imagine, I think of the Knight of Pentacles as kind of like the person that went off to school, right? College, trade school, you know, I don't know, traveling the world or whatever, learning, doing an apprenticeship, really interested in furthering their skill set, their understanding, making themselves more marketable so they can get into the position that they want to be in. You know, I imagine like a person that goes out and builds their own house in the woods or something, you know, just really motivated. Also younger, or at least having that younger spirit. The energy level is up there, right? Not somebody who's kind of just rolling along through life like humdrum, not really interested in doing much of anything. Absolutely not that energy. So I see here we have a person who is in the boat, right? So the boat is right here. And the boat to me always indicates there is energetic movement in your life, okay? So where possibly you maybe went through a period of time where you almost had like, if you could imagine writer's block, but apply it to life, right? You just didn't necessarily know how to get started or what you wanted to start with or you know, where you were going or what your goal was, what your intent is, you know, and just kind of feeling stuck, right? Kind of in a rut maybe. I feel that you've become really proactive about getting that blockage dislodged, right? Breaking that thing down so it can keep, you know, moving. So the flow of things gets going. And so I think that you have somewhat of an idea of what do you want to be doing with your life in this next period of time? Now, I'm not maybe saying, you know, 20 years from now, or what are you going to do for the rest of your life? No, maybe just for the next year, maybe just for the next couple of years, right? And so I see you really getting out there, feet on the ground, pounding that I was gonna say asphalt. Yes, out there, pounding the sidewalk, walking, driving, getting to where you need to go. Maybe you're looking for a job, putting out resumes, filling out paperwork. Maybe you're going back to school, applying for a new position or a raise or, whatever. Maybe getting a second job or starting a business or whatever it is, right? You are going through all of the fine details. You have a list. You're checking one thing off after another. You're busy, busy, busy. Now, I feel like we have, and it reminds me very much of like a mother figure, maybe a wife, maybe a sister, or, maybe this is another aspect of yourself. But, right, I feel like there's such a support here. This is somebody who just loves you. Absolutely. You could do no wrong. But they do. They show up for you. And especially when they see you in this place where it is. You're like full of life. You are excited. You want to get out there. You want to do this thing. You want to, set yourself up to be making some good money down the road. Getting your house, in order. Being able to cover the bills and maybe pay down some debt. And God willing, having some, money to put away. And so, I think that this person or this aspect of self is really showing up for you. Okay. Checking in on you, making sure that, you have your needs met as much as, as an adult, somebody else can meet your needs or whatever. I'm not saying that they're doing everything for you. But, I do. I think that this is somebody that's always going to kind of be a cheerleader for you. And I feel like that makes a big difference. When you might be like worried about, is this really going to become anything? Will I make anything of this? I'm putting a lot of time and effort into it. But I don't know if it's going to work out. Yeah, here's the voice that it's like, yeah, you're doing this. You're doing great. You're really good at what you do. Even if it's maybe going slow for a while or you're not seeing like a clear path, it will reveal itself to you. And not only that, where you need to make adjustments, you're clever. You know how to tinker, how to kind of, move things around and get it in the place where it needs to be. So it can really, and you as well can flourish. Okay. Now we have the 6. So I don't know. I almost wonder if this is like your life path number or maybe this is like, I don't know. There's some bond between the two of you and, well, I mean, there is a bond, but there's something bonded between you two that has to do with the 6. And I don't know what that is. But maybe you do. Okay. Now we're going to take a look. Oh yeah, we had that person down there drinking. Okay, so I do. I feel like Capricorn, and this is really, I feel like I've gotten to know the signs in this deeply dynamic way since I've been doing readings for people. Just getting to know a lot of different people with different, not only solar placements, but at least their major placements. And so I'm getting these kind of themes that come up a lot with, people who identify with Capricorn. And it is that there's this real sense of deeply motivated, hardworking, intelligent, good at management and innovation and and things like, right, the paperwork, the business part of things, all the stuff that, you know, feels pretty boring or really difficult for most of us. Like Capricorn people, no problem, right? You all are probably out here filing your own taxes every year, you know, and it's right and it's correct, you know. But on the other side of it, yeah, there can be really this draw towards pleasure, desire, you know, being fully immersed in sensation, and maybe, you know, to some degree, some taboo or you know, I don't know how to really say it, but just urges and belovedness that maybe is kind of out of the norm. Maybe not, I'm not going to say extreme or anything like that, but you know, just things that you wouldn't necessarily share with everybody, right? And it could be that you have like hobbies that you're just really, really like, you get obsessive, right? And I think usually there is a sense of, within the realm of sensuality, there maybe is, you know, what some might consider a little bit of deviant behavior. Now, we live in a world where things are less stigmatized, thankfully. And, you know, there's something for everybody, I guess, you know what I mean? I don't know. But yeah, I think people are a little more open, right? Or at least accepting, or at least they just let you be, right? They don't get involved. So I think that's something that you always have to kind of remember, okay, is that when you're doing well, especially, sometimes when you're not doing the best, right? When you're under a lot of stress, or there's like grief, or, you know, you're feeling pretty poorly, you can turn towards this kind of looking for oblivion kind of energy, looking for these like real big, immersive and all consuming kinds of stimuli, right? And to me, I immediately think of maybe substance use or you know, copulation. I think that's okay to say on here. But you know, those are the obvious ones. Those are the things that we, you know, usually think of. But I'm also seeing this person drinking down here. So, and to me, it kind of looks like Krampus. So I almost kind of feel like it's this wild, untethered spirit. And, you know, in moderation, right? You're an adult. Do what you want to do, of course. But just keep in mind that you don't want to get so far off track that you start to lose yourself in things, right? You completely get into this mode of being like hyper fixated on feeling good, you know, or at least like feeling a detachment from reality. And next thing you know, you've been on one for a while. And, you know, so just temper self. You know, that's the biggest thing, is making sure that whatever you think you need, click it back like 3, right? Just, for me, it's like, do I want dessert every night? Yes, of course I do. But I gotta reel it in. Maybe like twice a week, right? That seems doable. Does it always happen that way? No. But it should. So, you know, and I'm not speaking on anybody else but myself. Let me be clear. You do you, you know, no judgment. And also, we all are different. We all are different. So, whatever is for me may not be for you, and vice versa. But yeah, so I think that's kind of an indicator there, that it's kind of a reminder. Keep your, you know, keep yourself in a state of awareness as much as you can. And, you know, maybe if it's getting a little bit too much, then yeah, you know, pull it back a little bit. Now we have a house, we have a shovel. So I feel like it's really ultimately all about kind of building that life that you really want, being the architect of your own life. But not only the architect, the contractor, the builders, you know, I don't know, I was going to say the masons, and I mean building walls, right? But whatever, you know, from the top to the bottom, doing all the things, okay? And yeah, I do. I feel like this is kind of, even if, you know, you're 70 years old and you've gotten into this, you know, this place where you're thinking, you know, I'm going to change my whole life, or I'm going to finally do the thing that I want to do with my life. You know, maybe you're in retirement post-work. And yeah, you have a lot more time to think about, what do I want to do with my time here? You know, what is the thing that has always kind of escaped me? What have I always kind of dreamt of life being like? You know, I think this is why, right? Whenever you're in a period of time where maybe work is a little slower, maybe you get a couple days off, you're not going anywhere, so you're home, you know, or yeah, you're post work, or you work a job that gives you time off, like you know, maybe you're like a teacher or something. I think a lot of us, you know, we want to just kind of sit by the water, you know, with a cool like drink in our hand and just chill, hang out, you know. But then it's like, I could start renovating the kitchen or, you know, whatever. And I do, I feel like this is, you know, you have this kind of, you have that tickle of, let's kind of, you know, let's get busy here. Let's do some different things. Let's kind of rearrange life a bit. Let's change the atmosphere in here. And yeah, and I think this is where your focus is going to be in this next period of time. Okay, so we also have two people next to this tree. Okay, we have the big tree here. We have 2 people over here. So I do feel also that there is a sense of maybe seeking, and we have an S, as I said that. We have an S right there. Maybe seeking some kind of, well, I was thinking shelter or refuge, or, you know, just a reprieve from everything. But I feel like it's kind of more like implementing some downtime within your days. If you can imagine, and I'm, you know, these ideas of like Victorian, Edwardian people having the time to like leisurely walk the park, or their expansive grounds that they own. And they sit down by a tree and read a book for half the afternoon. I mean, it must have been nice. Most of us can't swing that. But, you know, I feel like there's at least this impulse of, I need something to break up my day, my routine a little bit. Kind of maybe getting proactive to make that happen, making sure that you're doing it, you know, maybe not like once every, 3 weeks, but yeah, like every other day or every day. I'm going to go for a little walk after dinner, or I'm going to, go to my car during lunch break and read my book, or, whatever. And I feel like that's something that, that you kind of need, because I feel like it helps relieve some of the stress of just fully always being in go, go, go mode. Okay. Now we have the 2 people. So I almost kind of feel like, And it looks like it says car, C-A-R, and then S, like cars. I don't know. But with the second person, and we have the 6 again right there. I feel like this is almost kind of like maybe that same motherly energy, kind of really reminding you like you need to rest. You need to kind of make sure that you're not running yourself into the ground, like you're not burnt out, you know. We also have the number 23 over here that I just saw. And let's go ahead. It says UA. Immediately I'm like, do you have a UA coming up? Maybe. Be aware, it might be sprung upon you, right? If you are on paper, you might this might be for you. Just make sure that you are gonna, you know, whiz clean. But it also looks like VA. So maybe this is like Virginia, or I was thinking the VA, like the veterans, what is it? I don't even know what the A stands for. But I know it's the medical system, right, for veterans. And we also have, it looks like a 2 up there. So VA could be a name, could be, you know, part of a word or something. We have a bird. It looks like a dove. We have a heart. We have like a little smiley face right there. Yeah, ultimately, I feel like there's a sense of just kind of being at peace with a lot of things. And I feel like it's kind of, you're just not really weighed down by the mental, emotional turmoil that you sometimes get into, where you're overthinking things, you're ruminating, worried, paranoid, even maybe to some degree. But I feel you really kind of just being present in your life and not getting into those, you know, circles of thinking. It's just over and over and over again, not being able to kind of step outside of that. And but now it's a sense of peace. And I think a lot of that has to do too with you really taking an active role in your life, right? And being conscious during that, being very aware of all of the moving parts and how you're feeling and what's going on, and, you know, so on. So overall, feeling pretty dang good, I think. Now, we're going to go ahead. We're going to do our, what are they called? The self-care affirmation cards, okay? I'm going to flip through and stop where it feels right. And it says, wild pasture. I give myself permission to relax. There you go. We were just talking about this. Becoming my highest self requires planning time to rejuvenate. I am a wild pasture that grows and draws nutrients without toil. I love it. To me, this is so, I mean, it is about the being, right? About us as spiritual bursts of light, right? But also we have this property, you know, where we live, and there's a lot of grass, okay? And we're out in the country, but there's a lot of grass, and it is my goal, and it'll take some years. Like, it's not something it's gonna happen overnight, but I want to return the grass to like prairie flowers, indigenous native plants. I'm trying to figure out how can I do that. I also want to put in a rose garden, and we also garden food, vegetables, fruits, that kind of thing. So it is I'm all about that. Just thinking about, that wild pasture, having, a place that is full of it's full of plants that are supposed to be here, right? Because they, you know, the environment that we live in, and this is why a lot of, you know, you see a lot of like weeds, we call them weeds, they're indigenous plants. They are drought resistant. You know, when there are lots of rains or it's super hot or super cold, they just keep coming back, don't they? And that's because they are where they're supposed to be. So, you know, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents about it. But I'm excited to, you know, regain that kind of natural, non-lawn. Although, you know, a nice lawn is beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. I do like the aesthetic of it, but yeah, I don't know. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking all of that, but applicable to me as a being, right? Cultivating the wildness once again. All right. So Capricorn, I want to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video. Sorry, there's a little bug crawling around. I think it got in when I had the window open. I don't know what it is. It's nothing bad though. I'm so freaked out by, and I can't even say their names, but those things that, you know, go into your mattresses. I've never had them, but they're so rampant everywhere. Anybody, you know, and here's the thing, anybody could get them. It doesn't matter. It does not matter how cleanly you are or like where you live or, you know, whatever. I'm so obsessed. Also ticks. We have tons of ticks here. And I've had 1 or 2 come out of my hair. Thankfully, haven't been bit by one yet, but oh my goodness. Every time I see something that I don't recognize, I'm like, what is it? I take a picture and I go to like Google Images or whatever, the Google Lens thing to see what it was. But anyways, yeah. So if you, I know I'm going off on tangents, but yeah, I don't know. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It's free. And if you want to leave a comment, please do. I read them all. They mean a lot to me. They absolutely do. And if you're new to the channel, definitely shout it out in the comments. All right, Capricorn, thank you so much for going on this long and windy journey with me. All right, I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk in a couple days. Good night.